What's up, guys? Hey, this is Christian Brindle with Figure Medicare Agent. And we're back with another video, guys. I have a video that I'm super excited to bring you today. I have a guest that I'm super excited to have a conversation with. I have Landon Skank here with me today. And Landon, it's before I introduce you, Landon, I wanted to quickly just kind of tell the story about how we met. So this past weekend, guys, and I'm going to be having a video come out pretty soon where I break down my entire experience of the Medicare Gurus Mastermind, whatever you want to call it, that happened in Memphis this past weekend. But first night I'm there, I'm at dinner. I get seated next to Josh Lustig, who I basically spent a lot of the day with that day because we bumped into each other at the airport. Long story. I'll talk about that in the next video. And but Josh and I get seated at a table with Mike, who's awesome. But then we also get seated with Landon's dad, Charles, and Landon's grandfather, Gary. And so I've seen these guys on the groups. I've seen them on the threads a little bit. You know what I mean? Like the names were familiar to me, but I never had a whole lot of conversations with them, before that point. And so, we're all talking, and we hear that, it's unveiled to us, I should say, that Landon is a third generation with their agency, right? So Charles is his father. Your dad's in his 40s, right?
Yeah, born 77.
Got it.
Oh.
And then your grandpa Gary, he's about 68, right?
Late 60s, yes.
Yes, I remember because he was the same age as my dad. And it was the coolest thing to kind of hear about this, how, over the generations all working together, a lot of times what you see with that is that there's a lot of, the old way versus the new way of doing things and kind of combating against each other. But that wasn't the case with these three individuals. These three gentlemen were working together, understanding that each generation would bring in something different to the table. And upon talking to Landon, he talked about some pretty amazing results he had from his first AEP this past year. So Landon, tell us a little bit about your family's agency and a little bit about what you guys do, and give us a little bit of introduction about yourself, if you would.
Yeah. I'm Landon Skank, and my grandfather, he started the agency in 1978. My father was born in 77, so my dad's kind of been in the business his whole life, or just watched it. And Dad didn't join until about 2012. He's about 35, 34 or so, and he joined. And they focused a lot on annuities. And Medicare was just kind of a side thing. And Grandpa, he got cancer in 2014. And he was out of the business for about 9 months. And Dad carried it through. And I joined about a year ago, December of 2019. I went to college for about half a semester down in Florida, interned at an insurance agency down there. And I graduated in 19 from high school. And my dad wanted me to get the insurance license when I was in high school, because I was 18 while I was in high school. It didn't work out, and wasn't the time. So I got my license January 2020, mid-January. Worked throughout the whole year, hit first AEP, and did about 250 apps. My first on my own.
That's unbelievable. Like, seriously, I don't know too many people. In fact, I can't think of one off the top of my head that their first AEP at your age come in and just crush it like that. Like I started at the same age as you. I started at 20 myself, and I told you this at dinner. I did not do even close to that my first AEP. And so you need to be incredibly proud of your results, and it just speaks to a couple of different things. For what I noticed, I think it speaks to your potential as an agent, which is sky high, right? The sky's the limit for you. Whatever you want to do in this industry, you can do it with those results and that kind of capability to come right in like that. How long were you selling before I finish my thought? How long were you selling before AEP? When did you start?
So I got licensed in mid-January, and it's really hard to just start selling. Unless you just start dialing. And I kind of shadowed Dad and Grandpa. I watched what they did, and I think I sold my first policy. I think it was my first supplement late February, end of February.
Okay.
It was a slow build. It was a very slow build for me, and I just replicated Dad's system, his way of presenting, and I put my own little twist on it, and I just took it and ran with it.
That's awesome. That's amazing. So the other thing that it jumped out to me on, Landon, was, I think it speaks to you as an individual that you're a prodigy. Like, and I mean that with all seriousness. But it also speaks to the system that your dad and your grandpa put into place to build a culture with the agency.
Yeah, I couldn't have done it without them.
Yeah, I mean, now I guess a question I have is, do you guys have other agents in the office that aren't related in the family?
We have about 2 other agents that are not related, and they do well. They do well.
Are they doing 250 apps in AEP?
No.
So
No, they aren't.
there you go, right? I mean, same system, same probably opportunity, but and I'm sure they're very good agents, but like, to do 250 apps in an AEP, it's almost like, when an NBA player scores 50 or 60, right? Like, even if it's against a bad team or something like that, they're still putting 50 points in a hoop. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's amazing for you to be able to do that. I guess my question is, if you had to put a pinpoint on it, what allowed you to be able to propel like that during AEP? Because you said it was a slow build up until then. What changed when AEP rolled around?
We really buckled down the months before AEP to get a system in place that could handle the volume.
Right.
We upped our budget. We sent out flyers. We have probably 10 billboards around our area. A lot of organic marketing we do.
Yeah.
But for myself, I just kept on doing my presentation, explaining Medicare. You just get in front of people, just working on it, and I finally almost perfected. I'm not happy with it yet, but I mean, it's worked. I wish I would have known more about bundling, though. But
right.
2020 vision, looking back.
I think I told you this at dinner, though, because we were having this conversation a little bit about bundling at dinner that last week. Was, bundling is something that for most agents, I think, the the average agent, it typically takes them quite a bit of time to be able to get to the point where they're comfortable by adding another product into the equation. Now, some agents are freaks, they can just come right in and just, slay it. But, you've already done a great job of bundling, from our conversation. You've started to sell some cancer insurance, you've started to sell some other things. So you're way ahead of the curve on that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking back now. If I knew what I knew then, starting AEP, I could have done double my production. I don't have a doubt in that.
That's awesome.
Through just ancillary products anyways. But I'm just going to focus on that next year. My goal for AEP is 500 apps.
That's a killer goal.
For this new next AEP. Just going to keep on working towards it.
So let me ask you about, other people that are your age, right? Mm-hmm. Do you know anybody your age that's making the impact that you're making?
Only a handful. I'd have to really think about it. I've made some great friends in the industry that are very close to my age. I have a friend in Indiana. He's doing final expense. He's grinding it out. He's doing really well.
That's awesome.
But anyone in my area, not really.
That's awesome. So like your circle of like friends, right? Like you probably have a circle of friends from like high school and, just knowing people in your town. Are a lot of them just kind of like in college and, just kind of doing their kid thing almost? Because when you're 20, you're really a kid, right? Let's be honest about it.
You're
like,
a kid.
Is that kind of how their lives are going a little bit right now? Like they're in college, maybe working a job somewhere, something like that?
A little bit, yes. I have a real passion. I have people that they come to me and they want to do what I do.
Yeah.
And I'm really particular in who I pick and who I want to help out. There's a guy, I went to school with him. He's 21 and he wanted to do what I do so bad that he went out got his license, passed his test first try just last Thursday.
Wow.
And we're going down to Texas together to do some training
It's
for
awesome.
some final expense. And so he's driven. And so I want to replicate my sales technique in him. And because I know he has the drive for it and the want. But, for the last few years, he hasn't really been, he's just been doing college and everything like that.
The reason
nothing wrong with college.
The reason why I ask is because I relate so much to your story because I started at the same age as you, in a very similar situation. I started working with my dad at an established agency here in Utah. But I did not come in guns and blazing like you did. You know what I mean? Like it took me a little bit longer. So, I mean, you're absolutely crushing it, but I was doing well. You know what I mean? I was doing well. I was making more money than any of my friends at the time. And, I just remember I slowly but surely saw that they would have, this, I don't know, I almost want to say resentment towards me. They would feel a certain kind of way about me. They just wouldn't want to invite me to things anymore. They wouldn't want to be around me anymore. And we just kind of slowly started to drift apart, a lot of me and my relationships back then. And it's difficult. That's why I was asking. I was wondering if you're kind of experiencing some of that right now. It's not easy, it kind of, I mean, I know for me at the time, I, because of that, was around very few people my own age, and it's almost something where you feel kind of lonely, but you're in a great position because you're able to go to these conferences, you're able to go to these events, you're able to, essentially be plugged into a bunch of great communities with great people in the industry. I just wanted you to know you're in a great position like that, because I know what it's like to kind of have those relationships start to dwindle because those people want to live their life a certain way and you're aiming for greatness.
Yeah. I don't really want to live like them. I mean, I have my own goal set. A lot of the relationships have been kind of splitting, but I just keep on moving forward. I really have to, can't get focused on that. And I do have a few great relationships with the guys that actually want to succeed and they want to be at my level. They view me at a higher level. I don't really see it that way, but I want to bring them up to wherever I am and go past me. I have a passion for that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
100%. I mean, you get by giving. And, I think that's why I like working with agents so much is, I feel like if we can help agents kind of get to that next level or maybe add something to their business that can help them expand what they're doing or maybe do it a little better, or whatever it might be, I feel like we're making an impact, and I feel like it'll come back on us at some point in the future. And, someone might refer business to us, somebody might refer an agent to work with us or something like that. And you guys have that same mentality, you know what I mean? And I think one thing I really noticed that was the coolest thing that I observed from dinner last Thursday was your dad made a comment, to where, he was telling the story about how he came in and, started working with his dad, with Gary, and how, he was telling the story about how, when Gary had his battle with cancer, how Gary told him, he's like, you kept the business alive. This business is just as much yours as mine. And I'm paraphrasing. It was something like along those lines. And your dad made a comment that was very interesting to me. He said something along the lines of, I bring something different to the business than Gary does. And Landon brings something different to the business with his skill set than either one of us do. We all bring something unique that can kind of help propel what we're doing into the sky a little bit, and it was beautiful to me. You know what I mean? I thought it was genuinely one of the coolest things I got to experience that whole weekend, because I come from a place, right, to where, my dad and I didn't always see eye to eye on how to do things and, working together, that kind of thing. Like when I came into the business, my dad was kind of in the threshold of starting to make his way down, and start to scale down, downsize, start to retire. And I come in and I'm like, I want to scale up. You know what I mean? Like I want to go
to the moon.
And, it caused some, friction at times over the years. And, And so to see you guys, the three of you guys sitting there in unison, really, you know what I mean? You're all on the same page at where you're going. It was awesome. You know what I mean? Like, have you seen any other dynamics like yours in the industry, to where like there's that multi-generational dynamic to where you all value each other's skill sets?
I really have not. I've only been in it a year, made some great relationships, just through Facebook and just networking, but I have not seen the same type of dynamic. We all are very different. It's 9-day difference between my dad and my grandpa.
Right.
But that's another good thing. We help each other's weaknesses and we complement each other's strengths. Grandpa laid the big foundation for us, and Dad, he came in and took it to another level, and I want to do the same. But I couldn't do without them. Without them at all, it would be very hard. But as far as seeing the same dynamic, not really.
Yeah.
It could be out there, but I just haven't seen it yet.
I can tell you this, I've been around a lot of agents. I've been connected to a ton of agents over the years, have some unbelievable relationships, but I think I end up seeing more situations like mine than your guys's, unfortunately.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
And that's why it really caught my attention, is because I haven't seen it either, exactly quite like that. I thought it was just the coolest thing. And so a question I have for you, if there's an agent that maybe is watching this, that ends up seeing this video, that they're 19 years old, they're new in the business, they're 20 years old, they're 21 years old, new in the business, right? They just got involved. And let's say they're just getting their contracts right now. They just got through AEP, they're just getting ready to go. Is there a couple of things that you could recommend to somebody that maybe if you knew it when you started, it might have saved you a lot of headaches? A couple tips?
Yeah, I've looked back and I've like, man, I wish I would have known that. Wish I would have known this. Just don't be afraid to go do it. I mean, just don't be afraid to offer them a product, because you will be helping them. We had a wrong mindset with cancer and dental vision and hearing. It pains me to say that, but I wish I would have offered every single person that walked in here that opportunity.
Right.
Because $10,000 would be, if they even had a $10,000 cancer policy, that would be life-changing for them if they had to have a diagnosis. And, people thought, oh, they can't afford it. Those are the people that need it most.
Right.
If they have a maximum out of pocket on an Advantage plan, they could be out of pocket $8,000, in the fall, and then in the spring, if they hit their max out of pockets both years, or in about 6 months' time, that $10,000 cancer diagnosis package would be a big benefit. Always have a plan. Any plan is better than none. And just a whole plan for your 20s, where you want to be in 5 years. Just kind of picture that and work towards it. I'd really recommend doing that. And everyone's story is different. Focus on who you were a week ago and see how much you improved. Just work on improving yourself, because people always do better or worse. That's not a good scale. Everyone's different. And so I've just been trying to look at my like me yesterday. How have I improved in a year ago? And it's been a big difference. So just keep on moving forward no matter what. You might get discouraged, but just got to keep on going.
I love that. And that's very true. I mean, this business is such a roller coaster, right? Like one day you can just destroy it, and just have a perfect day, and you close almost every person that sits in front of you. You end up writing something on every person. Like, it's just a great day. Then the next day you can just seem not to do anything right, and it just brings you all the way back down to rock bottom. I think that's great advice. Is just, what my dad always taught me. My dad did teach me a lot of great things as a new agent. So I do very much, give him credit for that. And, I'm grateful to him for that. One thing he taught me that has always stuck with me is you want to stay level. You don't want to get too high. You don't want to get too low. You just want to make sure you stay level. Don't get too excited when you win, but don't get too discouraged when you lose. And I think that very accurately, kind of sums up what a new agent should do. And I think that's great. And that's wisdom beyond your years, my friend. What it's worth.
I just watch my dad and my grandpa. I've learned so much from them, not just about the industry, just through life. I try to learn from their mistakes and just see what's worked for them. And I try to copy it and put my own little spin on it and see what works.
Yeah.
But always, I would follow that advice, not go too high or too low. I never thought 250 apps was like a big deal.
Right.
I just kept on doing it, keep on going. And you do have to look back and say, wow, I accomplished something. Because if you don't look back and see what you accomplished, I mean, what's the point? You got to see what you got to accomplish. Because I'm more future focused. I'm always looking at 5 years ahead, next year, see how I'm going to get there. But it's been beneficial for me to look back, just take some time and look back and just keep on going. I don't want to be like Uncle Rico from Napoleon Dynamite, 1987, I want to keep on going as well.
Right. 100%. Like, as I get closer to 30, because I'm 28, I look back on my 20s, from the time I started to where I am now. And if I can give you any advice, not that you need my advice, you're doing perfectly fine without my advice. But if I can give you any advice, was my biggest thing when I got into the business was I was very easily distracted by a new shiny object. I never stopped doing what I was doing. Like, I was always doing insurance first, but I was spending maybe my free time trying other things, and I've talked about this a lot on videos and things like that, to where, I would try like side hustles and side projects and things like that. Like, dude, if you stay laser focused on what you're doing, by the time you're my age, you're going to own the industry. You know what I mean? You're going to be one of the biggest people in the industry. And so just keep laser focused. Don't get distracted. Like, I look back, I'd say the last 3 years, I've been laser focused, like absolutely laser focused. Before that, I was a good agent, but I wasn't reaching my full potential.
Yeah.
Because I was getting distracted. If I was laser focused from day one, I've accomplished a lot in the business, but I would be so much farther ahead than where I am today. And so that's what I encourage you to do is, don't get comfortable. Don't take your foot off the gas. I love to hear you say that you want to double your production this upcoming AEP. That's the right mindset. That's the right mentality. And your future is just so bright. I'm so excited to be able to be connected to you and just to watch you grow and just to kind of see where you end up and where life takes you. And I think you're an inspiration to agents everywhere with that.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And I just want to keep on growing and scaling, improving the systems. I'm not happy with it. I'm not comfortable with it. On some routes in areas of my life, I can get comfortable, and I regret it. Right, regret doing that even a year ago.
Right,
and just trying to conquer one thing. I view this as something to conquer, and once I conquer it, just keep on going. Yeah, multiple streams of income is nice, but a bunch of streams that hardly trickle anything out, not very useful.
Right.
So once I slowly perfect this, I'll eventually look into something else maybe. But so far, I haven't felt the need to. I just want to keep on going.
Yeah.
I spent a lot of time with video games, but I've really moved away from that.
Yeah.
And, just focused on learning and improving myself. To see what we can do. And me and Dad, we have a great relationship. We're like best friends. And my grandpa too. We'll text each other at night with our ideas. Most father and sons and grandfathers, they go hunting and fishing. We just do business. That's our hobby also, not just work. And so grandma or our mom will get angry with us, don't bring it to the dinner table or anything like that. But it's hard. It's just what we have to do. We love helping people and just seeing other people grow.
Yeah, 100%.
We're trying to help each other constantly.
So what is your guys' vision for your agency? Like, where do you see yourselves, let's say, by 2030? Is there like an ultimate end goal for the agency?
So right now, and I want in about 5 years, is my mindset of a little bit. I want to have different offices set up. I want to have a system here that's so replicable and scalable that we can move it to the surrounding areas in the towns. Because small town Kansas, we're about 2 hours away from any major city. And I think it'd be awesome to see a seed planted in each of those cities of an office just like ours.
Yeah.
We got to focus and perfect this one. We'll never perfect it, but we got to get it scalable enough where we can eventually do that. And my dad, he has a vision of having a McDonald's for retirement. I don't know if you've ever seen The Founder, the movie.
Oh yeah. I'll be honest with you. I geek out on it. I've probably seen it 10 times.
Yeah. So
I love
have
it.
we. And before, the food was kind of clunky and it wasn't really efficient.
Mm-hmm.
And he has a vision like that. That's kind of like the main guy in that movie. He has a vision of expanding it, and he sees the potential in it. And I see it as well. And so Dad's a big dreamer. I'm the one that tries to carry it through. And so to work towards that. Grandpa, next 5 years, he'll never stop working. That's just his mindset. But he'll slowly back away.
Right.
But that's fine. He needs to start, enjoying retirement. But he enjoys work, like I said.
Yeah.
So he gets kind of anxious sitting at home doing nothing. It's not fun for him.
I don't blame him. I would be the same way.
Yeah. And I'll be sitting there at nighttime. I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot about this. You need to get this done or whatever, and write it down. But I think by 2030, we definitely want to expand way more and give people the opportunity to do what we love, because we love this, and we want other people to have that same opportunity and to provide for their families. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
Passion.
100%. 100%. I mean, well, I think, you guys are doing all the right things. Obviously, you're a beast. Your dad's a beast. Your grandfather's a beast. It's just, it runs in the family, I'm sure. And, it was just such a pleasure for me to get to spend some time with you guys that night. I took a lot away from it. I know Josh did too. And I mean, anything you ever need, if there's ever anything I can do to help you, you can always shoot me a message. You can always text me, whatever you need. And, so are you guys actively bringing on downline agents or no?
So Dad and Grandpa never had that vision before I came. They just thought, oh, we just keep on going, getting the next policy, that's just how they operated. Now we're starting to expand. Grandpa always kind of liked the idea of doing that, but he couldn't replicate himself into someone. It'd be really hard for him to, because he's focused on, the next sale and what to do next. It's hard for him to take time and train someone. But I have that vision of bringing on people and help train them, build a downline. I'd love that. But we just have to keep on going and figure out what to do here.
Got it. The reason why I was asking is because if you guys were taking on downline, I was going to ask how people can get in touch with you guys. And because obviously a lot of agents will see this, right?
Yeah.
So if someone was interested in partnering with you guys at the moment, are you guys actively taking people on or not quite yet?
If they're fully licensed, I mean, yeah, we're also willing to help out, and we would be willing to do that. Yes.
Okay, great. Well, where can people best find you? What's the best way to get in touch with you guys?
So you can get in touch with me on Facebook, personal. You can call our agency. Or you can call my personal cell phone number. That's so fine too. Or you can text it. 620-779-3271. That's okay too. Friend me on Facebook. And Charles Skank as well on Facebook. He'll friend you and he'll talk with you and see what we can do about that. Definitely.
Awesome. Well, guys, I mean, they've got the experience, right? They've got the culture. They've got the systems in place to just knock it out of the park. I mean, they're a good group to work with, guys. So if something Landon said resonated with you, they're fantastic. Landon's dad, Charles, he was on the annuity panel this past, weekend at the Medicare con, and there was only about 4 people that were chosen for that, and out of everybody that was in attendance, and there was a lot of people there. So they know what they're doing clearly. And yeah, reach out to them, guys, if something Landon said resonated with you. And Landon, thank you so much for coming on here and taking the time. And I know you got other things you could probably be doing, probably writing some apps, so
That's
I
all right.
appreciate you taking some time and talking with me.
Yeah, no problem. I enjoyed it. And thank you very much for the opportunity to speak and inviting me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. We'll do it again soon. We'll have you on Taco Tuesday sometime with me and Glenn.
That'd be awesome. I'd love that.
I'm sure he would love to hear about your story too. Anyway, guys, if you enjoyed this video, do me a favor, just do it already. Drop a like, hit subscribe, and make sure to hit the bell so you never miss any of our uploads, because we upload a lot. You might miss some if you don't. Anyway, guys, we'll be back with another video going forward. Until next time, thanks for watching.